Welcome to Big 12 headquarters. I'm Wendell Barnhouse, Big12Sports.com, joined by Commissioner Dan Beebe, and we're here today to discuss an historic, exciting development for the conference. Dan, would you fill us in on what the big news is?
You bet, Wendell. Today we're announcing that we have just executed a 13-year agreement with Fox Sports Media Group for the extension of our telecasts of football and of our telecasts of other Olympic sports and women's basketball in the future.
Okay, well, Dan, now what is the length and when does this contract actually kick into effect?
Well, the contract will start in 12-13, so that'll be the first year that all the football games will be distributed, and it'll go on for 13 years from that point in time.
Well, one thing we want to try to do with this Q&A is kind of provide some background and clarity and information as far as this announcement is concerned. So first question we want to get into is what made it so appealing to continue the agreement with Fox?
Well, Fox has been a long-time partner. They understand what the Big 12 is about. They've been instrumental in promoting our brand throughout the country, and it made an easy arrangement for them. And they came up with a long-term financial commitment that made it very palatable, and it helped us achieve our goals, along with having the ability for our institutions to retain rights so that they could exploit those rights in their own institutional distribution systems.
Doesn't take long to get to a tough question, but what are the financial details?
Well, Wendell, as you might imagine, these contracts provide that you're not supposed to reveal those publicly, and we're going to honor that.
All right. How is this going to benefit the fans?
Well, first of all football games will be distributed from now on, either with the Fox agreement, ABC, ESPN agreement, or institutions can retain a game and distribute those games themselves. So first and foremost, every fan throughout the country will be able to find their Big 12 institutions' games distributed. And then secondly, of course, for those that are, like many are, interested in the Big 12's long-term continuation, this is an agreement of historical length and is a commitment between the institutions to stay together for a long time.
Now, you might need to explain a little bit how this fits in with the overall television package. This is for just the cable rights, the so-called second tier. How does this fit in with the conference's overall television package?
Well, first, ABC has the selection of 18 games that are the first games in our selection order for broadcast exclusivity. This arrangement with Fox gives Fox all the rest of the football games for cable exclusivity. And then you have men's basketball, the 95 games that ESPN gets to pick through the ABC-ESPN agreement, and after that, institutions distribute their own basketball games, some through Fox, and we'll try to promote more of that through Fox. Women's basketball, 25 women's basketball games will continue to be distributed through Fox, and then we have 15 other Olympic sports events that will be done with Fox. All the rest of the Olympic sports, women's basketball, are available to institutions to stream or televise on any of the platforms that they can do.
You touched on this a little bit, but how does this impact the future of the conference? Obviously, in almost a year ago, there was a lot of talk about the situation with the two schools leaving, and a lot of people wondering what the future of the conference would be. How does this impact that future?
Well, we said coming out of last summer's events that we felt like there was going to be a strong future of the Big 12, and there was a long-term, unequivocal commitment by our board of directors. Several in the media and some in the public felt like that was not really the case. We've maintained that in our athletics directors, our presidents, those that are connected to the conference, the administrators and others. And now this is a clear demonstration of what we've been saying all along. We have a clear, bright future. It's a solid future together. These 10 institutions are excited about what we're going to have going forward, and this is a demonstration of that.
Obviously, there is competition among conferences, and does this kind of meet benchmarks as far as putting the Big 12 on a par or on a level with the other conferences that it competes with?
Yes, you know, as far as the exposure, certainly it's second to none in terms of having all of the institutional games being done. Also, the revenue the combination of our ABC ESPN deal and our Fox deal, two of our partners that have been part of the Big 12 since its inception, make it where we are at a place comparable to any other conference in the country. You know, we're in where we've always been in terms of our status compared to other conferences vis-a-vis their footprint and their television homes and so forth. So we're in a very favorable position, and we still are retaining the rights to sell our 18 football games that ESPN has on broadcast, which generally bring in more revenue, and 95 basketball games. So we're still able to, in 4 years, be in the marketplace with some of our most significant rights and even elevate our revenue and exposure to a greater degree.
Now, as we mentioned, this is for this agreement with Fox is for cable only. What impact could this have on the conference's future negotiations with ABC and ESPN, and maybe kind of explain kind of where that is as far as time frame and length, and what kind of might be the next step as far as ABC ESPN?
We have our agreement with ABC ESPN goes through the 2015-16 academic year, and so in 4 years, in 2015, we have an open window with ABC to negotiate with them for the same rights that they own currently, which are the 18 football games and 95 basketball games. And you know, we've been long-term partners with them. I think we're excited to get into the marketplace with these rights, and we think that it'll be a great situation with them or whoever decides that they would purchase them. Is
there a particular time frame when that would start kicking into place as far as negotiation for those rights?
Yeah, we have a specified window. I think it starts in January of 2015.
The conference now has continued its agreement with Fox, and also is still has its agreement with ABC, ESPN. These are two of the heavyweights as far as televising college sports. How does that help the Big 12 being aligned with those two entities?
Well, I think they're the two premier distributors of sports, specifically college sports, and we're delighted. And you know, Fox is going to provide opportunity for us to be even on more platforms. We're very excited about the FX distribution. It appeals to the primary audience of 18 to 34-year-old males, and is a outstanding platform in 99 million homes. So the combination of being with these two tremendous media companies is providing the Big 12 a great future in terms of its exposure of the great sports that we play in this conference.
Now, there's also been a lot of talk about the institutional networks as far as maybe doing their own deals as far as television networks or whatever, putting something together for cable. How does this impact the institutions as far as their TV plans?
Well, this agreement, as far as I understand, provides the greatest amount of rights that go back to the institutions in college sports. So there's a tremendous amount of freedom for our institutions to distribute games and events and other programming that they want around those events, coaches' shows and so forth, through a number of different mechanisms. It doesn't have to be the traditional television network situation. With the confluence of broadband and traditional television, there are ways to distribute content throughout the world, and I think it's going to be tremendous as we see the evolution of that for our institutions to be able to provide that content to their fans and their alumni worldwide. This agreement will permit them to do that.
I realize that putting this deal together has required an awful lot of work from an awful lot of people. Could you kind of give some shout-out thanks to some people that were really crucial as far as making this whole thing to come together with Fox?
Certainly. Well, the people at Fox were tremendous to work with. We've had a great long-term partnership, but they really demonstrated a willingness to work on all of the issues. This was very complex. It's unlike other media deals in college sports where all the rights are in the conference. We had to go back and forth with our conference and others, and the Fox people were tremendously patient and understanding and helping us formulate what we needed to do for a unique package that we were able to provide. So Randy Freer and Eric Shanks, the two presidents of the Fox Media Group, were instrumental in getting this done, as well as Karen Brodkin, their chief legal counsel at Fox. I also had a tremendous team internally with my staff and also in the membership. We had a television committee comprised of the president at Oklahoma State, Burns Hargis, the president of Iowa State, Greg Joffrey, DeLoss Dodge, Joe Castiglione, and Mike Alden, three athletics directors who served on that. And then all the presidents, chancellors, and athletics administrators were extremely valuable in their input. and also their ability to help us get the deal done. We had 2 television consultants, Joel Lulla, Dean Jordan with Wasserman Group, who were instrumental. So you're right, it took a lot of people to work hard on this. Our outside legal counsel, Kevin Sweeney and Pulcinelli, were also involved, and the general counsels of the institutions were involved. So we had a lot of cooks in the kitchen during this whole process, but it was needed to formulate the kind of landmark deal that we ended up achieving.
Well, Dan, as you mentioned earlier, there were concerns, a lot of people, about the long-term viability of the conference. This new deal with Fox, what do you think that says to that question?
Well, I think that those naysayers that were out there, this should answer that. We said all along, I and the presidents, chancellors, and the athletics administrators, athletics directors, and those in the league have said we're committed. We're solidly behind this conference and this group of institutions going forward. And again, I think the fact that all of the institutions voted for the execution of this agreement indicates that there is unanimous support for long-term viability of the conference.
All right, well, that wraps it up here at Big 12 headquarters. For Commissioner Dan Beebe, I'm Wendell Barnhouse for Big12Sports.com.